Scarlet Witch is an incredibly powerful magic being that can literally reshape reality to her own will with her chaos energy. Her power is unbelievably big and her feats even more so. But in Marvel Rivals, she was reduced to a beginner-friendly character. All she does is just run around and target drain people and go invulnerable every couple seconds. So my proposal for this video will be to give her a brand new kit that better adapts her super powerful set of abilities while still trying to somewhat keep her current identity of a beginner-friendly character. But before we start, if you're new here, please consider subscribing and checking out my previous videos on the series where I propose a new kit to both Moon Knight and Black Widow. Without further ado, let's begin. So first of all, let me just be clear here, I am 100% aware that people enjoy the current state of her kit. I do these videos mostly for fun and to show people all the crazy feats and powers that these characters have in the comics. And that gives the segue to the first part of the video, which is who is the Scarlet Witch? So, Scarlet Witch is one of Marvel's most powerful characters of all time. She has an extremely long set of powers from probability hexes to just reshaping reality itself. And that tends to be her main struggle as a character, having to contain and control such an unbelievable amount of power. One of her most popular feats is rewriting reality of the Earth to a world where humans are now the minority and mutants are the majority, and also completely erasing the mutant gene from most mutants in the entire planet. So she definitely is one of the most powerful characters that Marvel Rivals could have picked to put in the game. So with all of that in mind, what I wanted to do is make her a mage that can deal a lot of damage, but also apply different effects to the enemy team with her probability hexes and spells. So in her new kit, she is still a duelist and she still has 250 HP. The way I see it, at lower levels of play, she will still be fairly easy to learn, but at higher levels of play, she will be considered more of a glass cannon kind of character. So starting out with her passive, I call it Chaos Adaptation. And in this passive, Scarlet Witch's abilities apply certain chaos effects to the enemy. They will either slow, they will make the enemy weakened, which means they take 15% more damage from Scarlet Witch, or they will be hexed, meaning they can't use the abilities for 1.5 seconds. But these spells are way too strong to be controlled, so these effects will be all applied at complete random to all enemies with the same amount of chance for all of them. And additionally, every time an ability happens to apply a unique chaos effect, Wanda will gain 5% ability cooldown for 5 seconds, and this can stack up to 3 times. And once you reach max stacks, her primary attack will gain homing properties for 4 seconds. And that will lead us straight into the primary fire, which I call Chaos Bolts, and this will fire red bolts of chaotic energy similar to the projectile that she already has. Same speed, visually I think it will look somewhat the same as well. These red bolts will all do 30 damage on hit, and they will be fairly medium range. From long range they will be a lot harder to hit. And you're going to have to weave in your primary attacks with her brand new right click, which now shoots a pink bolt of energy. And these pink bolts will apply a random chaos effect. They will last for exactly 4 seconds. Additionally, if you hit a pink bolt and then a red bolt on the same marked enemy, her primary attack will detonate and jump from the usual 30 damage to 50 damage, and it will also be a small AoE effect. So if enemies happen to be grouped tightly together, they will all take a little bit of damage. So with just 2 abilities, you can already see that I'm moving a little bit away from the auto target drain because I think that's a little bit boring and I want it to be more of a medium range zoning character. So for her first ability on her E key, I like to call it Probability Surge. It has a cooldown of 8 seconds, and what this does is it fires a short range wave of unstable energy that pushes all enemies in front of her backwards. It also applies a random chaos effect to the first enemy hit or the closest enemy hit, and if they happen to get pushed into a wall, they are guaranteed slowed for 2 seconds, and they take 15 damage. So obviously this is a tool for tanks that get uncomfortably close to her, or divers that are getting, also uncomfortably close to her. She needed some kind of tool to push enemies away, because obviously with this kit, the way I see it, she wants to play it at medium range and zone opponents away from the point or the payload or chokes, whatever you might need. But in Marvel Rivals, such fast-paced game, she needs at least one movement ability, and that's what I'm giving her for her shift ability, which I call Warp Step. So with this ability, once pressed, she was gonna teleport a short distance in front of her, so wherever she's walking, and she will leave behind a Chaos Echo that explodes after 2 seconds, dealing 40 damage total in a little AoE area, and the first enemy hit or the closest enemy hit will also have a random chaos effect applied to them, and this will have a cooldown of 7 seconds. So again, she needed at least one movement ability or something to be able to run away or engage with, so I decided to give her some more magic mixed in with that as well, and another way to apply your chaos effects. But before we continue with the next ability, I'm gonna stop you for a second, and if you're new here, you're not yet subscribed, please make sure to subscribe. If you're liking the video so far, please make sure to drop that like button. Chances are you're most likely a new viewer, so please make sure to help the channel grow and check out my other content as well. So now moving on to her ultimate, I call it Hex Unleashed. So this is a concept that a lot of people have asked to be introduced into the game in some way, which is to be able to drain ultimate charge from enemies, and I think this is super cool. So the way I see this working for Scarlet Witch's kit is, first of all, I imagine the ult cost being about 3,500, which is slightly higher than what she currently has for her normal ultimate, and similar to her current ultimate as well. She's first of all going to begin charging up. So you're gonna press your ult button, she's gonna start charging up for about 7 seconds. She's gonna walk really slow as well, because otherwise it will be a little bit too OP to position yourself. And after this charge up is complete, she's going to start attaching energy tethers to all enemies in a medium to large range circle around her, and every single enemy tethered will have their ultimate charges completely drained until they lose 10% charge, and this is going to happen over 5 seconds. They lose 10% charge over 5 seconds, and if you stay until the very end of her ultimate, she will lose complete control of her powers and instantly drain another 15% charge of everybody in range, as well as add a random chaos effect to them. And keep in mind that she can also use her shift key right before her ultimate. So if you want to dash in and then use your ult and start walking slowly to charge up, or you can use it right after it ends as well. You cannot use it during it. Now, if you want some kind of visual representation of how this could somewhat look or how it could somewhat work, I actually got this idea from a character in League of Legends. If you happen to play that, Nuno and Willump, they have an ability where they basically spawn a big circle around them, and while you're in that circle for the first couple of seconds, it slows you. It is a little bit of damage, but if you stay all the way, it punishes you and it explodes at the very end. It is a bunch of damage just like that. So that's kind of how I see it. You stay a little bit, you take a little bit of damage, of punishment, but if you stay the whole way, it explodes at the end and it is a bunch of damage, or in this case, it drains a bunch of your charge. This is definitely an idea that I've been wanting to use in one kit for a really long time, and I thought for the Scarlet Witch, why not? She can do so many things. She has so much power. She can cast so many different spells. She's such a powerful character that I feel like this will be super cool, and it's still similar to her old ult where it's a small charge up into a big powerful ability, but it's just a little bit more creative in my opinion. And now onto the potential team ups. So first of all, if you wanted to, I think you could keep the Doctor Strange team up, but the way I would do this is it will be similar to the old Hulk team up where his E gets changed. The way I would do it is the Doctor Strange E the explosion will now become infused with chaos energy, and every enemy hit by it, or the first enemy hit by it, the closest one, will have a random chaos effect applied to them as well. This is a way I could see it working. Otherwise, for team-ups with characters that are not in the game yet, I would like to see maybe Quicksilver, Vision would be cool, Polaris, Wiccan, or Speed could all make for super cool team-ups with her. As for the skins, my most wanted one right now is definitely the comic classic costume. It's just a, it's a classic. There's a reason people like it so much. I think it looks cool. I think for the style of this game, it could be adapted really nicely. It could look super cool. And if you want something a little bit different, I think since there's rumors of a symbiote season coming up, season 3, you could give her a symbiote costume. Now you can make it however you want, but there's actually an alternate Earth, Earth 17952 I see here, where she actually happens to have the poison symbiote, I believe, and I think it looks kind of cool. It can also be adapted into the game. You could change some things up and it could look super nice. Now, one last section that is brand new that I wanted to add to this video, I thought it might be interesting, was actually recommended by one of my viewers. So if you're watching this, thank you so much. Is if this was to actually happen in the game, what would you do with her original kit? With the drain and the little orb that, Crown controls people, who would you give it to? Or who would at least get some of those abilities, because you can't just throw that away completely. It's a lot of work that was put into it after all. So one character that I found could actually, at the very least, take some inspiration from these abilities is actually one of Cyclops' siblings. His name is Vulcan. His main set of powers are complete energy manipulation and even sometimes absorption of other people's powers. I feel like this could be really cool. You could definitely, if you changed the auto target drain that Scarlet Witch has right now a little bit and give it to him, I feel like it could definitely make for a pretty interesting character. And it's also, the introduction of a character people are not familiar with. Cyclops' brothers barely get any time to shine nowadays, especially when it comes to movies, so I think it'd be cool. It fits the vibe of Marvel Rivals adapting lesser known characters as well. I think it could be super awesome. But we have now reached the end of the video, so let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Did you like what I came up with? Maybe you have some ideas of your own, or maybe you didn't like what I came up with and you have some feedback on it. Please let me know. I love discussing with you guys. And if you enjoyed it, please guys, make sure to drop that like button and subscribe to the channel. Alright, we have tons of views here, but the subscribers aren't going up just as much as the views. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. It means a lot and it helps my content to spread. It helps the channel to grow. Alright, so thank you so much again, and I'll see you all in the next video.